Hello, my name is Micaiah Stevens. This is Hamlet development log number 7. Work for a company called Haven Studios. We are available to contact, or you can leave a comment in the video. We've got a status report. We're still on the 0.8 live branch. I guess we forgot to put out an update on Friday. Anyways, maybe we'll have to think about how to message this. And so anyways, we're on the 0.08 on the live branch, and then we're on 0.10 of the beta branch. Moving forward, we started log 6 on the March 18th, just kind of a quick, I don't know why I keep doing these, but anyways, we started this on March 25th, so things kind of moved along pretty good for the week, and now we're kind of hoping to be on YouTube Monday on the 26th at noon. We also have a free demo available on Steam, and $99. So we are going to be talking about some stuff. We talked about dungeons a little bit last time. We're probably going to talk a little bit about that. I have a path or game bug to show you that we thought was kind of interesting. And then we have a coming soon, and then our goal, hopefully. Anyway, so we started previously, it was about 0.13 on the development log 6. We worked, last couple of weeks been kind of crazy because we were working on the 0.13 and it just wasn't, we kind of made some changes with how with this sort of setup we're doing. We're talking about this person path, which ended up being I think too much for the project. And then that part of it was thinking about the idea of this larger term project with the kingdom and the inventory. And I think a lot of that kind of got set aside for a while we try to figure out some how to get the one of the things I think we are positive on is the dungeons have finally made a massive comeback. They are pretty much, we've got the, well, depending on how we're going to run things, what's our next topic? I think the path or bug. Yeah, so depending on how we're going to run things, I think we'll talk a little bit. Dungeons might be the sort of something to think about. But yeah, so let's, so part of the, so yeah, we'll probably talk about a lot of this in the coming soon before we get to that. Anyway, so let's talk about this path or bug. We were creating a we're kind of having this we're creating this concept of path, sort of like this idea of the person path. Well, part of the person path was sort of this character, and you can think about, like, we have a game character in the game, and then we have a path character in the game, and this path character just happens to be over here, and I combined the pathers is kind of like this idea of these town folks or different people that are supposed to be able to path around the world and do stuff in the world, and it was a separate system. And one of the things was I was like, well, I need to bring this into the main system, so I brought it into the main system, and it was actually quite easy. I was shocked how, because it was like it had sort of these components that sort of attached that said, hey, I'm an NPC, which it knows about. So it has a character, attaches that I'm an NPC, and then we also attach something called a pather. I don't remember what it's actually called in the game, but in the code. Anyway, so I combined. So it was quite easy to combine all these characters into this idea that every single game character in the game is going to be run off this character concept, which eventually might link back into the person concept, but we're sort of taking that out. But anyway, so we put all this together, we built everything and then we ran it, and then we started, so we're like, hey, this is cool, we're looking at an adventure mode here, and all of a sudden I started looking around and I'm going, wait a second, I haven't done anything, and you can sort of see, like, our mouse is over here. We're actually, if you kind of reverse this a little bit, we actually don't click anywhere in the world, and we're just kind of, this is like within a few seconds, all of a sudden the game started running, and I'm like, wait, why is the game running? And then I recognized the fact that I'm actually looking at a pather. If you actually look at the startup here, I think I'm actually, yeah, you can sort of, I think am I pressing forward? We'll see if, yeah, maybe, well, I think this is actually where the character spawns right now. And he's always facing north. So this is the actual game character that you're supposed to control, which is great because that's one of the next sort of systems I need to work on, is the ability to select this character, or be able to switch over and select a different character depending on various things. So anyway, so then it just came like, wow, it was like this pather sort of interfered, and it was actually, because we had built everything together, the pather sort of became the bug. Basically, is the pather was assigned, even the character. The pather was assigned to the character slot, and then the character slot says, okay, the camera's like, where's the character? And the character slot's, oh, I'm right here. And then so it took everything. And anyways, it's great. Even though it's a bug, it's actually I think it's a really awesome bug, because it signifies that everything's sort of working. That's why I like code to work. Like it's just going to work even if you feed it something terribly wrong, and it shouldn't just error out and say, oh, I can't do anything. It's like it should know something's wrong, but then you're like, wait a second, why am I not controlling this character? Which eventually you want some sort of UI to say, hey, you're following a non-player character. Anyway, so that was just really cool, and it was awesome. So there's the pather bug. So anyways, we're going to be talking about this in development, not promised, coming soon. So I always like to put these caveats out there, because this is sort of stuff we're talking about, depending on some stuff, soon is like, we're going to be talking about dungeons that are coming soon, hopefully. And it's like, we don't want to promise that, because it's like, we're not quite, when, it's been dungeons where have been, feature that's been worked in a few weeks. Hopefully my cat's not going to be at 2.9, but, anyway, so then should I just let her in, see how morning she's, anyway, so we have a few features, that are sort of like, we're also working on this idea, of different stuff, and then so anyways, one of the big things is I also run a studio. Haven Studios is actually a sort of umbrella for the things that I develop apps and different stuff, and it's like, whoops, I forgot. I've been working on this game nonstop, and I'm like, I kind of need to run my company and do other stuff and make sure that things are moving. So we'll have to see, but anyway, so then we'll see how this week goes. Might take a bit. So this is actually talking about something up here with this dungeons, and I'm not sure exactly what we're going to be. I guess I shouldn't talk a lot about what's happening in the background, right in this. But the main focus is the dungeons is actually now fit into a project that is now the umbrella for everything that's going on. So sorry, I'm worried about my cat. Anyways, the Hamlet is now working with the dungeons. They're not talking to each other, but they're actually they're in the same room, and they're happy being there. And even though they can't hear the cat meowing, so hopefully everything's great. So that's going to be something we're going to look at. It's partly now to figure out how to interact. I think the adventure character will be able to interact with that dungeon extremely quickly, but then the main concern is how does the dungeon the dungeon and the overworld and a lot of these systems need to interact, and I'm not sure if the selecting characters and the campaign or sandbox, I call it the RTS aspects, but we'll have to see how that, that's sort of the general idea is that you have, because that's part of the goal here is that, I think did we talk about the goal? Oh yeah, the goal is part of up here, is the goal here is that eventually we'd like to have the fact that you're controlling a character, and then you can say, hey, I'm not controlling this character anymore, I want to look at some other stuff, and that's what this RTS element is supposed to do. And it's just not. And anyway, so that's going to take a little bit work to work with the dungeon. So that's hopefully the update. So it's I'm going to definitely run a game studio. I mean, I run a studio, and I'm trying to turn it into more of a game studio. So this is going to be our first big commercial product. We run. It's a independent sort of volunteer-based studio where most of the apps and developing for that, even though they're free, it's like you got to put you just got to put so much time into it, and it's going to take a massive time sink to do, but I also think that it's going to be super important to do in the long term. So it's something I have to say. Well, I have commitments to this studio as well to make that work. So I don't think it will impact Hamlet a lot because my goal is to work 40 hours a week plus on Hamlet, work full time on Hamlet. But I do need to put some time into these. But hopefully the things that are happening now, I think I have we'll have to see how it goes. There's one idea is that either I can sort of do development builds take a little bit longer, and that would be awesome because I can just work on one core project or one pillar project or something. I don't know what you call it, one main project, and then it might take a little bit, or I might just start being like, hey, I think I tested it out. The new build is 60 megabytes, and I'm like, that's hardly nothing compared to what I was concerned about. We have a pretty massive art package that we picked up. We forgot we picked up a long time ago, and we want to get that into the game. But we need to. It's going to take a ton of work, and I'd be happy to show it off hopefully soon. We still want to pick up characters as well. So that's all going to be. Art's kind of the last thing. I want to work on art the last thing because it's like semi-last, where it's like I've got all the game in. I know exactly what it does. I know how it works, and I just need to start filling in, trees and cleaning them up. And that's actually something I was actually looking at. I think we actually have a picture here. Just to finish out, is like I noticed the thing. I was looking at art a little bit. The thing that makes this house look really cool in my mind is I just realized was these. It has these edges that are like dark edges, and I was always like that. You look at the character. The character doesn't actually have those edges, and it sort of feels like the character's flat. And it's sort of a toonish shader, or kind of an RPG sort of outline sort of. I'm not sure exactly what the term, but I really like this edge shading look, which this building has. You can also see that it needs a little bit on the door as well, but that's actually what makes this really cool. And then you can see the bricks and that sort of thing, and a lot of this other stuff. It's not to say you wouldn't want a black border around this as well. But it would be nice if there was a black, border like around here as well. And then when you selected it, then the glow or the selection would look. Anyways, I'll have to see if my cat's too loud, and if not, I'll scratch the video. But hopefully that's the development log. I think appreciate everybody that's keeping up and following. It's definitely this is kind of this is my main goal project. One of my friends is working on a space game, so I'm feeling so awesome to see them work on that space game, and I wish I could support them. But I mean, that's the RPG is what it won out for my studio, and I'm just it's kind of the game I want to make because I recognize the fact that I'm not going to be able to play games forever with my eyesight continuing to diminish. So it's like I'm going to want to put a game out there, even if it takes 3 or 4 or 5 years, because then I'll have hopefully something that I can work with, and then then from there I can start developing something that's going to take off. And that's the plan of this project, is not just to make this single game, but to make this into a really long-lasting project that I can really put a lot of time into and work with and upgrade and feel that and then part of that is just through and that's selling this this really hopefully a slice, I call it now, a slice of the game. It's going to hopefully be a really fun complete slice that's a mini game. It's going to be hopefully it's going to, in the end, it's going to feel like a roguelike RPG game. Anyways, you take care. Thanks very much.